Yeah, I want to start out by acknowledging the crowd. Crowd was incredible. 8 p.m. tip, national TV. The Maniacs willed us to this one. Not sure we get this one if we don't have the support of the building. Give a lot of credit to Coach Mills and their team. They've been playing great. Obviously, one of the hottest teams in the American. You saw why, and they made it hard on us. Put us in some difficult situations defensively. We had a hard time keeping the ball out of the paint, and just didn't guard the ball as well as we needed to. But I think you got to give them a ton of credit for that. It's easy to always just kind of look at what you didn't do, and sometimes you don't acknowledge that the other team has good players, good coaches, and they did a great job. And just feel really fortunate to be on the winning side of that. Made just enough plays. Belo made a couple big free throws there. And then, like I said, we were having a hard time stopping them, but we got the stop that we had to have.
You guys were so clutch late in that game. Atten rises up and hits a couple of big ones there to get the stand. Were you just proud of the way your guys kind of pulled through and they had to make the plays they needed to?
Yeah, and this is basketball in March. It's what it feels like, and I thought our response to it was good. Like you said, made some big plays, and then when we had a couple plays that didn't go our way, I thought we had some good responses in that as well. And even the last one, they made a great play, knocked the ball out of Belo's hands, and you got to wash that and got to go down there and get a stop, which we were able to do. So proud of the resolve. Proud of the resolve of the group. And just finding a way to win when we didn't play our best defensive game. And like I said, you got to give them a lot of credit. Some of it, I'll take a little bit of the blame for it. They do such a good job of cutting and moving without the basketball. 6 is an incredible cutter, 3 is an incredible cutter, 20 is an incredible cutter. And so we talked about that a lot going into this game. Haven't watched the film yet, but my guess is because we were so consumed with their movement, we got a little spread out, and they have really good one-on-one drivers, and they drove us and did not keep the ball out of the paint well enough tonight.
Wichita State, they went on a 10-0 run there in the second half, and you guys responded with a 9-0 run yourself. Just what were you telling the team in those timeouts?
Just that we needed to, reestablish our defensive identity, just kind of like trading baskets and you score, we score, you score, we score, then we stop scoring, they keep scoring. And that's not really who we are and what we are, So just needed to reestablish our defensive identity, got some shots to go down, and was able just to get just enough stops in that stretch.
Because what got them back in? I mean, you guys seemed like you had, a pretty tight grip on the game, up 16 there.
In the first half? Yeah, it was 16-4. They're a good team, and we got off to a great start. And honestly, Belo getting in foul trouble hurt us. And he picked up his second. Finally played 4 minutes in the first half, and he had 6 points in 4 minutes. And he's been a big part of our offense now. We can play through him. He can facilitate. And he got that second foul. And just with the way the game was being officiated, I'm not a guy that just is married to the idea of sitting people when they get 2 fouls. Forwards more than guards, though, because forwards are in such bang-bang plays around the rim that you may not even be trying to foul, but you could just accidentally foul. And that's how I got a second foul. Jasper gave up penetration, and he was kind of in the way, and the guard jumped into him and got the foul. So that was a big part of some of our offensive struggles, and they turned up their intensity level. We had dunks that they knocked the ball out of our hands in the first half. We had several opportunities where it looked like, we're going to have a layup, and they just came out of nowhere and turned us over. And again, you got to give them credit.
Big games for Atten and Latrell today. Just what did you kind of see out of them?
Yeah, they were aggressive. They were aggressive early. They were ready to shoot the ball. Senior guards, senior guards, I thought Atten played at like a legit first-team all-league level, made big shots when we needed them. I told him probably could have had a couple more if he wouldn't have slipped. So I don't know if we're wearing those shoes ever again. But, made big shots, big responses. Trell really settled us in that first half when we kind of had to play extended minutes without Belo. and made some just big shots during that stretch when we were kind of struggling to find some offense.
And you're kind of still alive in this thing now, going into Memphis tomorrow. Is that just what you want to have happen at this time? Just have yourself have a chance?
Well, yeah, you want to be in the fight. We've put ourselves in that position. But more than anything, you just got to control what you can control. You can get too invested. Obviously, they played UAB on Sunday. If you get too invested in that game, now you're spending emotional cachet on something that you have no control over. And the last thing you want to do is not take care of what you're supposed to do, which was, protecting home floor tonight and winning. So we've kind of talked about it as a group, put a lot of emphasis on it. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody in this room knows what's going to happen. Our guys don't know what's going to happen. So I just told, and if anybody does, then they should set up a fortune-telling booth and go be millionaires if somebody can tell anybody what's about to happen. And in my life, and I shared this with the team yesterday, in my life, I've probably been at my worst anytime I'm trying to figure things out too far in advance. Well, if this happens, then that'll happen. And then maybe that happens, and then this could happen. And if all that happens, this could happen. And sometimes none of it happens. So we've been in all kind of scenarios, and I think the best thing you can do, it is cliche-ish. It's hard to do, but it's just like focus on legitimately what you can control, doing the next right thing. That means getting treatment, getting ready for Charlotte, and the rest you can't really try to, you can't spend too much time thinking about,
Can you just take a peek at what happens with Memphis tomorrow if it's all said and done?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably watch it. I watch, if we're not playing, I'm a fan of college basketball too, and I watch all the games in our league if I can. If I'm not doing anything, I'll probably have it on, but I'll also probably be flipping between whoever else is playing tomorrow night, and I'm not going to sit there and watch it on pins and needles with some sort of voodoo doll, praying that. I mean, I just need to make sure, because I got 2 more games, so it's you just gotta control what you can control,
In a couple of solid games for Bilo back-to-back, just what did you kind of see out of him today?
Yeah, made big plays. Bilo's a great player. So, I think we've tried to find some ways to move him around. He's done a good job of taking double teams, can still get better at it. We can still get better at that. And, made good plays out of that for the most part, and made some big plays around the basket. And, 15 points in only 18 minutes, and again, he's performing at an all-league level as well.
And, with this win, y'all are now on a 6-game win streak. Do you feel like the team has kind of fit in its stride at the right time?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. It's a group that really enjoys each other's company. They love being around each other. They love coming to practice legitimately. Again, it's not coach speak. They love being around each other. And so there's just joy in every day in trying to figure out what the next thing is, and 6-game win streak, 2-game lose. Yeah, it's they're each individual games. I know they run together, but they're such separate entities that you're just, trying to figure it out. I didn't think we played great tonight, if we're being honest, but the opponent had a lot to do with that. They were physical. They turned us over 14 times. That's kind of that area where, if we start getting up 14, 15, 16, that hasn't been a good number for us. Below 10 is a really good number, but you got to give. They made some incredible plays around the basket, and they were physical, and they scrapped, and that's what March is about.
Coach, what did you think of Jasper Floyd's performance tonight, especially coming out of the gates and kind of getting right into that physical play that was prevalent all night?
Yeah, I thought he made his 3 was a big shot during that stretch, and again, when he plays well, we usually win. If you wanted to do a deep dive, ask Luke Della what his stats are in our 3 conference losses and what his stats are in our 13 conference wins. And, so we turned the ball over, but he didn't. 3 assists, 1 turnover, 4 for 6 from the floor, 1 for 2 from 3. He played really well, and again, just another senior guard, and he's a winner.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.
Such a close game down the stretch.
I think it feels good. Earlier in the season, we weren't as well together, and at the time, we weren't able to figure those things out. But as the season goes on, we've gotten better at executing down the stretch.
And, y'all are now on a 5-game win streak. How important is it to, it's 6-game win streak now, sorry. How important is it to kind of build on this kind of momentum at this stage in the season?
It's really important, going into March. Everybody wants to win every game, and, we just got to continue to do the right things to help us continue winning.
Yeah, real clutch down the stretch after it got to be a close game. What did you guys do so well down the stretch that enabled you to pull that game out?
Stayed together, kept executing offensively and defensively, and that's what you got to do come this time of the year, basketball season, college basketball, end of the year. It's March now. We got to do the right things to help us win.
Yeah, Adam Hick came up with a bunch of clutch shots there. Did he just want the ball late? I saw him. It seemed like he was clapping on the wing there at one point, calling for the ball. Did he just want that?
Hey, when shooter's hot, man, he's feeling it. You got to get the ball to him, you know what I'm saying? And we could definitely do a better job at times getting the ball to one of our best shooters for sure.
Sure.
And, going into halftime up 3, what was the message from Coach?
Really going into the game, we already knew, there was a good team. We played them last time at their place. That was a tough game as well. And, he kept stressing to us, we got to continue to be the first ones to loose balls. And it was going to be a physical game. And we just had to continue to, lock in on, being the first one to balls, hit them first on the rebounding. And that was probably going to win us the game.
How are they able to get back in it after you guys had a pretty substantial lead there?
It's college basketball. Every team, every game has its ups and downs. And, they made a run. We had our runs during this game. And that's what it is sometimes.
Well, it seemed like the one that really swung your guys' way was after they went up 4. You guys would go in the 9-0 run. You hit the back-to-back threes and get the, I think it was the foul on the 3, and get the 3 free throws. How big a swing was that after they had gotten some momentum there to get it right back?
Man, I think swings like that are big time, you know what I'm saying? Especially when the game's so close like that, to get 9 unanswered points quickly, it's always good for our offense.
And Vilo, you had another big game today, 15 points. What was working for you out there?
A lot of my points came off my teammates finding me in great spots and great play calls from the coach, and I just was able to, thank God, make those shots today.
And I haven't had a chance to ask you yet, but you made SportsCenter top 10 the other day. How good did that feel?
Man, it's crazy. My grandma's there. I've never not win with my grandma there, so that felt crazy. It's always a blessing, and I'm just happy.
And what was going through your head when you got that fast break?
I told you, my grandma here, so I got to win there, you know what I mean?
You already knew you was going to win?
Yeah, I had to. So that's all she's used to seeing. That's all I'm going to keep showing her, so.
Yeah. So you guys sit and watch Memphis tomorrow and kind of hope it turns out your way, or what do you do? Or how do you guys work this?
We worried about, who do we play next? Charlotte on Thursday. Yeah. That's what we worried about.
We really don't watch it. I mean, if we got a fully off day, we might watch a game, but we don't watch it until it's time to play for most of the part.
Just check out the score later, see what happens.
Of course, taking to the score, but all the in-between is not for us.
Yeah.
What are some areas y'all think you can improve upon before this final home game on Thursday?
I would say our attention to detail, scouting the other team. I mean, we scout the other team, but sometimes we don't put it into the game through our walkthroughs and practices. So I think attention to detail to what the other team is doing, that's what we have to continue to do better.
A really tough game when it comes to the turnover margin. How did you guys kind of stay composed when Wichita State started forcing more of those turnovers?
They're a good team. We already knew they was a good team. They showed us different looks and compared to last game. So, they had a really good game plan, and we was able to just stay together as a team. And then our coaches, came up with really good calls to help us execute.
Yeah, and you mentioned kind of the physicality that they brought kind of right out of the gate. Just what makes them as a team so tough to play, especially with the earlier meeting in January, and how both of them have been in pretty hard games.
I mean, you got first of all, those guards are really good at snaking the ball screen. I think that's something they do well. And then you got Ballard rolling on the backside. He's a crazy lob threat. And then at the same time, you got guys cutting, circle cutting, you know what I mean? It's hard to guard, man.
For sure.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.